Hey guys, welcome back. This is Potholes to Paved Roads. I'm Jonathan Overstreet, your host. Man, so good to have you guys back. This is part number 2 to a little mini-series that I titled Knowing When to Quit. 3 major things that I've quit in my life. And the last episode we talked about the first 2, which the number 1 was college. Number 2 was Quick Trip. Which was at the time was the highest paying job I've ever had. And number 3 we're going to talk about today. And let me preface this by saying that I said last episode, and it's 100% real. This is the most difficult decision I've probably ever had to make. Most difficult thing I've ever had to walk away from. And sorry to get so serious so quick, but I'll say this, guys. This episode is different than the other ones. This one, I'm not riding around in my car delivering for Domino's Pizza. This one, I specifically knew in my mind before I did this episode that I knew I would want to be in a place where I could just concentrate and not have to be doing 2 things at one time, but just be able to concentrate on this. And I just need a couple minutes. I just need a few minutes, and I'll get my point across. But here's the deal. The third major thing that I quit in my life was something I'm more passionate about than anything else in this world. And that is, I was a worship leader at a church. And I know some of you guys might just think, oh, he was in a band, big deal. But that's where I want to challenge your thinking, because imagine quitting the thing that you absolutely love to do more than life itself. Something you were more passionate about than anything else in your life. And I did that. And the reason I did that is because, like in the last episode, I talked a little bit about how my symptoms got better when I went to the Postal Service, and they did for a little while. And then I started getting real sick again around, I guess it was around late 2018. I started getting very sick, and it seemed like no matter what I ate, I got sick. And I started missing a lot of work with the Postal Service. And it was a tough situation, guys. It wasn't fun. It was, and I'll be honest with you guys, the reason I was so scared is because my grandmother on my mother's side and her mother, so my grandmother and her mother both died of the same type of cancer. They both died of stomach cancer. And that's pretty serious, guys. I know this episode's different. It's not quite as much comedy. It's not quite me goofing around, but I have to put this out there. The stress of being a leader in that capacity and leading all the music with the worship team, and the stress of doing that started really getting to me. And it's almost like when you this might go out to anybody out there who's played in a band before. You've had those concerts that you play and nobody seems to respond, or nobody's cheering, or there's just blank stares sometimes. Well, sometimes that happens in Christian music when you're a worship leader at a church. And guys, that for me was one of the most difficult things to get around. It messed with my psyche so bad, and I was so incredibly hard on myself. You guys that played in the team with me, I think you saw some of how hard I was on myself, and the confidence in myself. I struggled. But overall, we had a great band. We had, some of the most talented people I've ever had the privilege of playing with. You guys were top notch. I could never have asked for a better team than y'all. And you know who you are. But I was starting to have such bad symptoms with stomach problems, and so I ended up getting a colonoscopy done. They checked for polyps in my colon and in my stomach, and praise the Lord, they found absolutely nothing. And ever since I had my colonoscopy, my symptoms have went away. But I think the main reason my symptoms went away is because I stepped down from that position at that church. And I've never cried more in my life. I've never hurt more in my life. And it was a struggle. It was very, very hard. And some of you might think, well, hey, why didn't you just step down and stay there? I didn't feel like that's what I needed to do. I felt like that might be awkward. I felt like that might be something that might actually cause more harm than good. And it's tough. It was a very tough situation. And I decided to step down, and we left that church. It was very difficult. But for you guys out there that might not go to church or might not be a believer, the best way I could equate this is to giving up the thing you love to do the most. I absolutely love music. I love playing guitar. I love singing. I love being a part of a team. But we walked away from that. And I'll say this without a shadow of a doubt, walking away from that is part of the healing that I needed. And my body, guys, has been just absolutely stellar. My symptoms of almost all seem to have dissipated and gone away. I still can't drink milk. I'm smarter than that. I'm not that crazy. But the things that used to make me sick, guys, they don't make me sick anymore. When I got the job at Domino's a little over a year ago, I thought, how stupid is this? I'm getting a job. I don't know. It's actually could be either stupid or really smart one. But get a job at a pizza place when I can't eat pizza because it makes me so sick. But guys, now I can eat pizza, which is probably the reason I'm gaining weight a little bit. but anyway. But why did I tell you guys that? What is the point behind all this? Why did I tell you about these three major things I quit in my life? Let's talk about it for a second. This is why I told you guys. If you're out there and you're struggling with a decision you need to make, just know that sometimes quitting is what you need to do. Quitting can lead to a healing. Quitting is sometimes the best choice. Look at me, I quit college. What idiot quits college? Number one, I quit college. Number two, I quit Quick Trip. I quit the highest paying job I've ever had. Now I'm starting to make a little more money with the Postal Service, but if I would have stayed at Quick Trip and been able to move up the ranks and actually become an actual general manager or store manager for them, I mean, there's some stores that I could work at and I can make six figures easy, guys. And I'm not talking about working 24/7. They have great jobs. It's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of work. It's a very difficult job. But I could have had that. And I walked away, guys. I quit. Number three, I quit a ministry that I had that I was more in love with than any other kind of ministry I've ever been a part of. I walked away. But like I said, college is probably the dumbest one. Maybe I wouldn't have to have two jobs right now if I had one job that paid more money, you know. But you know what? I'm glad I did it. I look back now as my life as a whole and the decisions I've made up to the point I'm at right now, and every decision I've made has made me the person I am today. Two, when I quit Quick Trip, why would you quit the highest paying job you've ever had? This goes out to people out there. If you're making tons and tons of money, but you're not happy about your job, or you're struggling in your family, guys, I'm not going to name this guy's name, but I personally have met a man in Louisiana who worked in the oil field, He was a close friend to one of my relatives. He worked in the oil field, and he flat out told me that he made gobs and gobs of money, but he lost his family. He lost his family because of his job. It's because he couldn't spend time with his family. He was gone way more than he was home. And guys, I'm telling you right now, if you have a job like that, if you have something in your life you're struggling with, just walk away, but after you find something better, or after you find what you need to be doing, walk away. Don't be afraid, guys. That's what this is about. You know how scared I was to walk away from Quick Trip? I was scared out of my mind. But now we go to another church. We go to Life Church in Catoosa, Oklahoma. I mean, absolutely awesome church. I mean, we absolutely love it. Great church. And I'm not playing in the band. I tried out for the band, but that's actually going to be a story for another episode. But guys, the point behind all this is sometimes quitting is the best option. Now, I will say this. Let me be very, very, very clear with this. If you're listening to this podcast and you're in a marriage that you're not happy about, I'm not telling you to quit your marriage. I'm not telling you to walk away from the decisions you've made that have gotten you to that point. I'm not telling you that. Please don't misunderstand me. That's not what I'm saying. But if you're in an abusive relationship, physically, mentally, emotionally abusive, you need to do two things. You need to get to a counselor. You guys both need to be in a counselor. But you, in particular, need to get to a counselor. Even if your spouse will not go, who is the abuser, you need to get to a counselor. And you need to figure out a way to get out. Or if you're in a relationship with somebody who is being unfaithful to you, that is one of the things that the Bible gives specific permission to get a divorce. I'm not telling you to. I'm not saying that's always the greatest thing. Sometimes giving up and quitting on something like that is not the right thing to do. Because I know marriages that have been saved because they got together, got on one page, that unfaithful one got their life right, and stopped doing those things. But that's the point of this episode, guys. That old phrase, don't be a quitter, no matter what, no matter how hard life gets, don't quit. Whoever said that may have not been through some of the things that you've been through. So guys, I hope I summed this all up. I hope I made it to where you guys can understand where I'm coming from. But man, I so appreciate you guys listening. And this is Potholes to Paved Roads. I'm Jonathan Overstreet. Thank you for listening.